Hello, good morning everybody. So we are talking about a process which we can consider as a cyclic one, where we are considering this as cyclic voltammetric analysis. So how this particular electrochemical method can be helpful in identifying the nature of the analyte and its electron transfer properties. So what we have seen so far, this is your thing that how you can draw the thing. So this one is your the corresponding peak what we get, that is labeled as EPC. So what we are discussing in our last class, that when we consider this and when it is moving and crossing the maximum through D, that means this is the corresponding sweep for the potential, what we are getting, that the potential versus time waveform and the cyclic voltammogram. So now you have to analyze this particular thing, that means how you can analyze this voltammogram. So this is your typical cyclic voltammogram for a solution containing potassium salt of ferricyanide. So ferricyanide is definitely then electroactive on the electrode surface, and once we know the corresponding E0 or E hub value for this ferrocyanide or ferricyanide couple, so we start from the corresponding ferric state, that means the ferric ion we are starting. So if you have FeCN whole 6, since it is ferric, that means it will accept one electron and the corresponding electron transfer equilibrium will be FeCN whole 6 4 minus. So this is ferricyanide and this is ferrocyanide. So what we want to look now is the corresponding E0 value. So what should be its corresponding E0 or E hub value? As one point of time we have discussed that we are considering something while talking about the corresponding potentials or the potentiometric measurements, that the corresponding half cell potential for Fe32 plus Fe2 plus in water, rather aqueous solution, was plus 0.77 volt. And we have seen there also, because already we know the corresponding values or the magnitude of the potential, that how it is going. If you have, instead of this in water, means have water molecules surrounding your, you have 6 iron oxygen bonds. So these are the water molecules bound to your ferric ion C, and these will all be replaced by cyanide group. So how this particular oxidation state, which is the trivalent state, can be stabilized or destabilized, that we can see from these cyclic voltammetric measurements. So when we get that, so definitely this one, basically then we start from the ferric ion. So what do you expect, that we definitely go for the first, the corresponding half cycle for the reduction. So this is your reduction wave. Since it is reduction wave, we get the maximum of this plot as the EPC. So when we reach from A to F, your everything on the electrode surface as the corresponding ferricyanide ion will be reduced back to your ferrocyanide ion, as we have seen. So now we will just switch from F, this is your point F. So now we switch the direction of the scan again from some potential which is around say minus 0.1 to 0.8 volt again back. So we will go back to the starting point. So that means when we scan it back, what is happening, that particular direction of scanning is not going in this direction. So it will go in the opposite direction. So it will come back over here. So it is basically the corresponding thing, that means this on this axis is everything is current in microampere. So it is, you see, this is a 0 scale and is in the 20, and this is also in the negative direction, that means the corresponding EPA, and the current is IPA, the anodic peak current. So we will have this. So we will go and again the corresponding thing, that means a corresponding mirror image of the plot what we got earlier. is basically replicated over here, and we again get some maximum over here, and we ultimately reach to point K through K to again the potential which we scanned first, that means the corresponding potential was 0.8 volt. So, if we get a typical cyclic process, what does it mean? Then we can have 4 points, basically very important. One is the point D, another is the point J, and the corresponding current height. So, when we scan in this direction on left to right, we get this maxima, that means EPC, which is your peak potential for cathodic reaction, that means the corresponding reduction reaction. EPC is the cathodic peak potential. So, EPC is your cathodic peak potential we get over here. So, this cathodic peak potential we know. So, some magnitude of this EPC will have, and that magnitude can give rise to something that when we move from here, that means from B, basically there is a sharp increase in the current height, because the current, you see the cathodic current is almost 20 or above 20. So, above 20 microampere current will be seen, and then it will decay. So, this from the baseline, this extrapolated line for this horizontal baseline to that particular peak point will also give another quantity, which is your IPC, which is the corresponding current, that means the peak current for cathodic scan. So, this will be your cathodic scan, that means we are looking for the reduction of the corresponding ferricyanide ion which is attached on the electrode surface, is basically the available concentration of ferric ion in form of the ferricyanide ion on the electrode surface is getting reduced. So, when we move then and then we turn on, that means in the opposite direction. So, this is your corresponding cathodic scan. So, cathode is responsible for your reduction, and then we go for your corresponding anodic scan. So, whatever amount of sample, because everything is in unstirred condition, we have not stirred the solution. So, everything is unstirred solution. So, whatever sample was there on the electrode surface will now be ready for its oxidation. So, again we get that particular amount of current, and we get some potential, again EPA, the anodic peak current as EPA, and then we go back and we have some residual current. Obviously, it is not matching again to 0. So, this residual current we have to accept because of the condition and the corresponding nature of the electron transfer reaction on the electrode surface. So, what basically here also we again will get two quantities like the peak potential as well as the corresponding current, which is your peak current for anodic scan and which is IPA. So, how do we know these things? That means how we can correlate, because this EPC is not equal to EPA. So, whatever we got there, this particular one, that means EPC and EPA, which is not equal to EPA. So, when we scan in the forward direction, then we go for the backward direction, we get something which is giving you some delta. That means we must have another quantity is your delta EP, which is your separation of two peaks. So, this separation of two peaks sometimes we report not in terms of volt, but we report in terms of millivolt. And also we see that the corresponding current EPC and EPA. So, if we measure, because the reverse current, which is basically is not exactly is the typical horizontal plot when we go for the reverse scan, but it has a slope. So, we extrapolate this particular slope through these three dotted points or dotted lines. So, and from there we get up to this point J, we get the corresponding current. So, how much this current and how much that current will then compare, and sometimes we know that whether this is equal or is not equal. So, two things can happen. So, depending upon again the nature of the electron transfer reaction, and since the process is a cyclic process, so we will have some idea over here the corresponding species which is present in the surface and which is reduced first and then reoxidized back, that is your reversibility of the electron transfer reaction. So, if both of them are same, that means IPC is equal to IPA, we will have a reversible electron transfer reaction, and a very small magnitude of delta EP will also tell the corresponding nature of the reversibility. So, next we will see that once we define these things, and if we see that the electro-generated species, which is your the corresponding reduced form, the ferrous form or the ferricyanide ion, if this is not stable within the time limit of your rescan, that means the cycle back scan, then you won't get the corresponding response for the reoxidation of the ferrocyanide ion to the ferricyanide ion. That we will see how we can correlate these things, and these will all be related to not only the potential, the thermodynamic potential what we are looking for, the E0 and the E half values, but also we will be looking for the electron transfer kinetics on the electrode surface. So, for thus a reversible electron reaction is a typical definition at 25 degrees centigrade. The difference in peak potentials what we just now seen is your delta EP. So, delta EP is your difference in peak potential or the separation of the two peaks what I have seen, that particular one for your plot. So, this delta EP will therefore be your this separation, that means your corresponding either the EPC minus EPA or EPA minus V, this is taken as the mod depending upon in which direction you go for the corresponding scan. So, it will be equal to some magnitude, because if we see that is again typically that constant what we get it for the Nast equation is 0.0592 by n. Because this n is quite significant, this n is telling us that number of electrons involved in the half cell reaction or the half reaction. So, in case of ferricyanide ferrocyanide reduction reaction, what we see that n value is equal to 0. So, what we expect? We expect basically a separation of 60 millivolt. So, for a reversible, the criteria for the reversibility for this type of electron transfer is that delta EP should be around 60 millivolt. So, if we get a corresponding magnitude of this delta EP which is 60 millivolt, we consider this as the corresponding reversible electron transfer reaction. So, that reversible electron transfer reaction is very important to understand or very important to know, and this particular one we see that if we get this, so when we start scanning this and we get up to certain magnitude of this and then again it comes back, and when we go for this, so this is basically up to this point. So, this is for the corresponding scan for your reaction for this reduction. Ferric is going to the ferrous state, then the ferrous state is again reoxidized. So, what I am taking about this the corresponding stability or the life, the lifetime, where that lifetime? The lifetime on the electrode surface. If the lifetime on the electrode surface is not much, what we see that instead of getting the whole cyclic process, your voltammogram can go and see like this. So, this is your corresponding starting potential. So, if this one is reversible one, and here only we will get that corresponding one, that EPC, the cathodic peak, and the corresponding current IPC, but we do not get on the other side the EPA or IPA are not available, because on the reverse scan we do not get the corresponding peak, because the lifetime of this is less or is negligible. So, immediately whatever thing is that is either decomposing or going away from the electrode surface. So, this is the typical example for a irreversible process. So, between these two extremes, that means one case you have a 60 millivolt separation, in another case it is almost nil, nothing is there, but in between what you can have sometime we get a very small peak over here, because the current is less, because this is the extrapolated line and we get the current over here, and sometime if the life is more we get the plot like this. So, these all are quasi reversible processes. So, we have the reversible process, we have the quasi reversible process, and we have the typical irreversible process. So, when we see that this is, so you have two cases, thus that how we find a cyclic voltammogram having a reversible signature and an irreversible signature. So, irreversibility is such that slow electron transfer kinetics results in delta EP exceeding the expected value. That means, the electron transfer kinetics results in a delta EP exceeding the expected value. The expected value is your 60 millivolt. So, if it is beyond 60 millivolt, sometimes it can be 120 millivolt, even 180 millivolt or 240 millivolt. So, these are the ranges what we get basically. So, we consider that electron transfer is there, but is a irreversible electron transfer, because only it can go for only oxidation or only reduction. And the reverse one, that means whether you get a reversible at slow sweep rate, because it has something, that means as I told you that the lifetime in terms of some seconds or milliseconds, it should have some idea about the stability of the oxidized or the reduced species after electron transfer reaction on the electrode surface. If we can see that at slow sweep rate, increasing the sweep rate may lead to increasing values of delta EP. That means, if we sweep at a faster rate, but your electron transfer kinetics is not matching with that electron transfer process. So, your delta EP is also increasing. So, we get a sign of irreversibility. So, at lower scan rate your delta EP can be less, but at higher scan rate your delta EP would be higher. But to get a standard delta EP value, what we are talking here as 59.2 millivolt or roughly 60 millivolt, we will consider this as for a scan rate of 50 millivolt per second. So, if you have a scan rate of 50 millivolt per second, we expect a corresponding delta EP value of 60 millivolt. So, this is basically a rule of thumb. You can also get the corresponding idea by looking at the corresponding electron transfer process, because what we see that we get the delta EP values very less when you have a scan rate of this type. But when the scan rate is higher, your current is increasing, but it is moving like this and is going like this and is going like this. So, this and this will tell you the corresponding delta EP value at higher scan rate and is going beyond that magnitude of 60 millivolt. So, is showing the corresponding sign of irreversibility or quasi reversibility. So, it is basically giving the corresponding signs. So, looking at only the delta EP values, what we find that the delta EP values will immediately give us that idea that you will have a reversible situation or a irreversible situation for your electron transfer reaction. So, basically if we just analyze, like we all know, for the electron transfer reaction for polarographic type or the polarographic electron transfer reactions can be analyzed with a very famous equation, what we consider as the that corresponding Ilkovic equation. So, that Ilkovic equation type of thing can also be used for your cyclic voltammetric measurements, which is Randall-Savick equation. So, Randall-Savick equation at 25° tells us that is IP is equal to some constant 2.686 into 10 to the power 5 plus some values of N, A, C, D and your V, small v. So, that is the thing what we are talking about just now is the scan rate. And we are talking about a scan rate of millivolt per second that can be converted to volt per second. And so, you get the corresponding current. This is the peak current height, whether you have a IPA or IPC. So, this particular equation basically tells us some relationship between your IPC or IPA with respect to your scan rate. So, when scan rate is increasing, just now what we have seen that your scan rate is increasing. So, this is for the first one is for say is for your 50 millivolt, and this one is for more than 50, it is say 200 millivolt per second. And in both these two cases, compared to this current, this other current is increasing. So, your peak current IP increases. So, that basically is being quantified for this case as with that of your Randall-Sevig equation. So, IP is your peak current in amperes. So, two things we are considering here in this equation, that peak currents are not in milliamperes or microamperes, it will be in amperes, and V is the scan rate. C is definitely the concentration, what concentration you are using, because depending upon the concentration of the ferricyanide what you are using for your cyclic voltammetric measurement has some role to play on the corresponding current, because we can sometimes find from directly from the current height that what is the concentration of the species if everything is standardized and we have the corresponding calibration curve. And A is the corresponding electrode area. So, definitely if you have a Dix type of electrode, and the electrode surface area is also important in centimeter square for your work, and D is the diffusion coefficient in centimeter square per second. So, this is the diffusion where the bulk solution from the bulk solution is transferring the electroactive species on the electrode surface. So, from these, and if we analyze or simulate everything very nicely, what we can see that one important constant what we know is a solution electrochemistry, that D is the diffusion coefficient. So, that diffusion coefficient can be found out from this particular equation and the cyclic voltammetric measurements. So, now we will see some interesting information related to some insecticide analysis, because this one is very important. So, if we have some electroactive analyte, and this particular electroactive analyte, we all know that most of the biological compounds, it can be a drug molecule, it can be a pharmaceutical molecule, it can be now insecticides, pesticides or herbicide also. So, one such example is a very important molecule is that insecticide parathion. Parathion is that para is some positioning of that, and is a trade name basically, all you do not know one of these things. The parathion is the general terminology for this molecule, and this parathion is trade name basically that our company is knowing is as the corresponding molecule is known as the Folidol. In the market it is available as name as Folidol. So, at a concentration of 0.5 molar at pH 5 in acetate buffer in 50% ethanol, because it is not fully soluble in water. So, 50% ethanol is fine, and in a buffered medium you go for the corresponding electrochemistry of this particular compound. So, this is a typical organic compound, a nitro substituted, because this part is your nitrobenzene part, and nitrobenzene part attached to some one which is a phosphate ester. So, this phosphate ester with some oxygen and sulfur, not double oxygen or double sulfur, and these are from the corresponding ethoxide unit, that means it is coming from the corresponding alcohol groups. So, if you have the corresponding alcohol groups and all these things, so it is not a very complicated process of making this molecule also. Now, we want to see the corresponding electroactivity, that means whether it can show some electron transfer reaction in terms of CV. So, what should be the cyclic voltammetry for this compound, and what are the corresponding electroactive species. So, if you separate it out, that you have a typical benzene ring and one part of that carbon on the benzene ring on one side, because we have just told you that is basically is a para compound, a para substituted di-substituted benzene ring will have. So, para it is very easy to remember also, and thion we know one of them is a sulfur bearing on phosphorus, because it is a phosphorus based insecticides, because these phosphorus based compounds are always very deadly, and they are very bad also for our health also, because they are useful for blocking acetylcholinesterase and all these things. So they can also function as nerve agents, we call. So chemical warfare we all know, so they are also very good nerve agents. So if you have the substituted nitro group on this, then this part, so which part basically, if we consider this is A part, this is B part, and this is C part. So a organic molecule in your hand having A, B, C, 3 parts together, and we want to see the electron transfer reaction in terms of cyclic voltammetry of this molecule, and want to see whether A is electroactive, the part A, or the part B is electroactive, or part C. So this is the typical response. Just now the ideal one we have seen, and we are discussing the ideal response for the standard reference material, which is your potassium ferricyanide, but this is not a very standard material. But with respect to that, because you can put that ferricyanide solution within it also, and you can scan that for your measurement. So the potential on x axis is basically plotted in terms of V versus silver chloride electrode, which is a very well known and very well established standard reference electrode. So this standard reference electrode, what is in your hand, can be used for your corresponding measurement, and that measurement is giving you the corresponding values for your 3 electrode system within the cell. So here is your starting point, again use 0. So you start from here at point 0, and you scan again on this particular site. So you have the corresponding one. So you get the corresponding reduction site, that means your the cathodic peak potential is at A. So at A you get some cathodic peak potential for some species which is coming out from this. Then we scan back, and while you scan back, we do not get anything related to this particular A species. At A, what species? The reduced species is formed. That means this is not getting directly reduced back to the species what originally present. Otherwise, you have this peak in this side and the corresponding reverse peak on the other side, and you get the corresponding cyclic one. But instead of that, if you scan more to the positive side, so when you go to the positive side, you reach at a point B. Okay, fine, you reach B. So you can consider that A is not directly reducing back to the original compound, but is reducing back to something else. So if you then switch back again and try to get in a cyclic process, because you can have repeat scan for any compound like your potassium ferricyanide, and if you can repeat the scan, and if the compound is stable in the solution as well as on the electrode surface, the reduced form, you get a overlapping cyclic process for your measurement. But here, instead of getting anything related to the corresponding reverse peak of A, we now get a reverse peak of B basically, because you see these are very close by, and you have a very characteristic delta EP value for this process between this B and C. So that's why we want to identify now what are the species basically important, whether A is important, B is important, or C part of the molecule is important. So now we will find that this is the C part. That means this nitro function is undergoing or showing the electroactivity for your parathion molecule. Since this molecule is attaching, and not that is the only nitro group, and nitrobenzene can have a different mode of reactivity, and also sometime we can find that nitrobenzene may not show this sort of electroactivity for your measurement. So it is this particular compound which is very specific for this parathion compound for its electroactivity to show first the reduction at A, then oxidation at B, and again another sort of reduction at C. So what we get, that the first cathodic peak what we obtain as A, so which is basically a 4 electron reduction process, because we have seen that the current height is big enough, is double to that of your B or C. So if it is a double enough current, what we get, it can considered as a 4 electron transfer, 4 electron reduction reaction for the species based on your nitro function. So phi part is, as we abbreviate phi as a typical benzene ring. So this 5 part has been reserved for the other part containing benzene and the phosphate ester part. So this nitro group on the right hand side, that means the C part of the parathione molecule is getting reduced to a form which we write as a functional group analysis as a NHOH, which is nothing but your hydroxylamine. So NO2 is basically reducing to your corresponding parathione, not in nitro form but in hydroxylamine form. So this hydroxylamine form of parathione is reduced by not only those electrons, that means electron you can put on the nitro group can show something as a dot, extra electron on nitrogen, but it is not that. You will also require the transfer of hydrogen at the same time. So the electron transfer on this, you can put the hydrogen also. So you have NO2, one of the oxygen will be removed from there and that oxygen will be converted to water, and this nitrogen will also have this NH was there, this NO was there. So that one of the O will be converted to OH and another H is attached to this, making it as a corresponding hydroxylamine species. But when you go for the reverse scan, the anodic peak B from the oxidation of the hydroxylamine now is not back to your nitro compound, but it will go back to the nitroso compound during the reverse scan. So when you go for this, so this NHOH, that means hydroxylamine is not going back to NO2, that is why you are not getting the corresponding reverse peak of A. We are getting B somewhere else, well away from your peak A. So it is for your NO formation, that means the corresponding nitrobenzene, the nitrosobenzene type of thing, that means phi NO is forming. So the nitroso derivative of that parathione is formed for your oxidation now by 2 electron only. So this is for your 2 electron oxidation, and finally the cathodic peak C, that means this NO is there and this NO is you can have. So this NO is in your hand and this NO can now be oxidized, that oxidation of the nitroso compound to the hydroxylamine compound. So this B and C, so somewhere you are having A here, then you have the B peak and then you have the C peak, and these two are basically close by reversible. So whatever you have for this, so you have this NO formation, the NO group, and you have the NHOH function, but here you had that NO2 is going to your NO formation. So once it is NO is formed from your nitrobenzene, you cannot get back to your nitro compound, but you will get back to your corresponding hydroxylamine compound. So that is why the cathodic peak C is for your oxidation of the nitroso compound to your hydroxylamine form. So again it is 2 electron 2 proton transfer, as we all know that whenever you have electron transfer, so electron transfer, if it goes in one direction, your proton transfer will be on the other direction in terms of the electrodes concerned. So this phi NO and this 2 electron transfer will giving back this. So if you get that, if we again cycle it back, you will get a reversible peak for these two. So NO and NHOH, that means nitrosobenzene and the hydroxylamine, for these two parts will be so, and will are connected by same number of electron proton transfer and they are reversible in nature. So next day we will continue from here, that how we can apply for these two things for some applications. Okay, thank you very much.